everyone, welcome to my studio. So this week I've got another painting for you. It's the little still life that was on my easel a couple of weeks ago. It's with a small ginger jar, some eucalyptus and a fairy wren, similar to one I painted a few videos back, but sort of like a miniature version of it. And then I think I'm going to give still lives a break for a while and maybe do some whimsical paintings, maybe paint some animals, something different, just to change it up a bit, keep up my techniques and try something different, because it can get quite boring if you just paint the same things all the time. So I want to move on and do something different for a while, and then I'll come back to the still lives again. So I hope you enjoy the painting, and I will talk to you at the end. Painting is a smaller version of a painting I did about a month ago. It's a still life with a ginger jar, eucalyptus and a fairy wren, same as the one before, but this time I've only got the one ginger jar. And right now I'm using my liner brush to paint in the details of the ginger jar. I find that the liner brush helps me get into the small details, and as you can see there, I've used a transfer paper to transfer the design on. It just makes it so much easier rather than freehanding it. I find I get the details crisper, and also I don't spend as much time trying to get the perspective right, so I just take it straight from my drawing and transfer it onto the paper from the drawing. Here I'm just using my filbert brush and washing in a little bit of colour. I did more of a glaze here and made the paint very thin, just so you can sort of get the translucence of the painting on the jar. And then after I've got all the designs washed or put onto the ginger jar, I go in and do my shadows and my highlights, and here I'm just popping in the highlights, and when you're painting it, it feels weird because you're painting over it, but then it kind of looks alright once it's done. Then I'm blocking in the leaves. When I do all my leaves, I start off and I just block them in all at once and just with a base colour. Now in this painting I decided I was only going to show you a couple of leaves because I pretty much use the same technique with every single one of them. I have a base colour first, I block it in, then I go over with the main colour of the leaf, and then after I've got the blocked in colour and sort of a wash of colour, I start putting in the details. And then basically it's just layering and layering and layering. So each leaf probably has about 10 to 12 different layers on it, from the base layer right up to the final highlights and the shadows. Here I'm just using the filbert brush, the liner brush again, and then the filbert brush just to pop in some shadows there on the base of the leaf, and then the liner just to pop in the edges and get those final highlights. And once again, in order to get the real detail and make it sort of stand out and be three-dimensional, I've really exaggerated the contrast in the piece. I've made my lights really, really light and my darks almost to, in some places, almost to black. And then the last bit that I usually paint is the bird. And the same as the leaves, I block in everything first with just a base colour, just to get a background. And then once the base colour's in, it's layering again, so layering again and again and again until you get all those details in. So it's a base colour and then your secondary colours, and then you'll slowly start putting details in with layers, and then glazing over the top if there's any sort of fine details in there. So onto the eye. The eye is my favourite part. It sort of makes the bird come to life. Once you get that highlight in the eye, all of a sudden it starts to look real for some reason, but before that it just looks like paint on the canvas. And adding in the beak there as well. And the last part was just popping in these fine hairs on the chest of the bird, which I used the liner brush for again, getting all the details and then the shadows in, just so the back part of the bird looks like he's fading into the black of the canvas. And then the last part is the feet, which I always paint with a liner brush because they are so detailed. Thanks so much for watching me paint that little still life. Next week I'm going to be back and I will have another art journal page for you. And then the week after that, I'm going to have the painting that's on the easel at the moment. And then I'm going to be moving into some animal paintings and maybe even start doing some small tutorials on techniques that I use, and just little 5-minute quick tutorials on tips and techniques. And so if that's something you're interested, let me know down in the comments and I can sort of cater those videos to what people are wanting to watch. But in the meantime, if you want to check out what I'm up to, you can go to my Instagram and my website. The links are down below in the description. I also have prints available at those 2 places. And until then, I will see you next week. Bye.